Austraeoh by Imploding Colon, read by Deathlight. Chapter 15, Ponies. The edge of the night was layering overhead when Rainbow Dash caught up with them. They had come to a stop at a flat clearing of dry soil along the eastern edge of a mountain. Several tall trees towered above, stretching crooked branches over their manes like skeletal wings, parking their two wagons at sharp angles with one another. The equine figures worked to set up camp for the evening. There were 14 of them total. It was a full caravan, and each individual was clad with thin strips of dark brown armor. Some of them were hooded, others wore metal leg plates that matched their silver cleats of their horseshoes. If anything, they all looked appropriately geared for contending with all sorts of unimaginable wildlife. Judging from the unkempt nature of their lengthy coat hairs, Rainbow Dash assumed that they had been journeying for a long time across the mountainous landscape. Rainbow hid, perched quietly above the group. From where she sat, on a rocky outcropping, she stared 40 feet down at the scene. Her ears twitched. It had been weeks since she last heard pony voices. Being privy to such a busy conversation of muttering equines was suddenly an alarming sensation. There was not a single horn or a set of wings to be seen among them. So she wondered if they had it even in them to suspect a sentient creature eavesdropping from above. It wasn't as if she could make out entirely of what they were saying. She heard something about a 2-day trip, about a deep river that needed traversing, about one of the ponies and his penchant for snoring in his sleep, followed by a burst of laughter. The ponies' voices were saturated with a thick accent that Rainbow had never heard before. She briefly contemplated how remarkable it was that she could understand them even remotely, after having traversed so much wilderness. But as the minutes wore on, and the world above became darker, she grew less and less patient with these dark-clad strangers. They had very little entertaining things to talk about. Their wagon supplies were filled with seemingly superfluous junk. Before her eyes, she witnessed as several burly members of the group fumbled goofily to start a fire. For the life of her, Rainbow couldn't understand how so many adult ponies could appear so tactless. As their frustration and ire grew into the advent of night, Rainbow Dash yawned, stood up, and flexed her wings to take off for the eastern horizon, ditching them. She stopped suddenly, upon spotting one in particular pony's graceful gait. She squinted and lifted her goggles as she watched the figure quietly march away from the rest of the group struggling to build a fire. He reached the fringes of the camp. He slumped to his haunches, sighed, and reached for his brown hood. Once the article was lowered, the air lit up with a shade of gold. A young pony sat, running a hoof through a short patch of silken blonde hair that ended just behind the ears. With a look of supreme boredom, he glanced lethargically his party's way and exhaled slowly. Below Rainbow Dash, his lanky body appeared to melt in the shadows, his golden head serving as a final beacon of the day. Rainbow blinked. She glanced from him to the rest of the group, then back at him. Slowly, a smirk crossed her lips. Instead of flying away, she reached back into her saddlebags.